Let's talk about pivot tables today. Pivot table is a very useful function in MS Excel with which you can analyze a large table or data without any big complex equations or formulas or filtering. So let's see how to insert a pivot table. Here you can see a table extracted from the employee database of a company. This table is having 6 columns: the name of the employee, the date of joining, the salary, bonus, overtime, and the department to which they work. So let's see how to simply insert a pivot table. For that, first you have to select your data and go to Insert and click on Pivot Table. A small menu will appear. In the first part, you can redefine the data. Suppose you missed to select a column, you can select the column here, or you want to avoid a column, you can avoid that here. And in the second part, you can determine whether to place the pivot table in the same sheet or in a new sheet. Since we have some data in this tab, let's put it in a new sheet. The new worksheet is selected by default, so we select OK. Now a new sheet is created and we can see some menus. On the left side we can see a graphics where the pivot table is going to appear. On the top some new options are appeared which we can use to design the pivot table. On the right hand side a menu is appeared which is having two parts. The upper part indicates the columns in our data. The lower part helps to design the pivot table. So in the lower part we have basically four columns: column, row, values and filters. Columns and rows are very simple, as the name indicates, helps to create the columns and rows. Whatever we want as a row we put in row, whatever we want it in a column we put it in the column. So what is value? Value is where we want to put a field which we want to calculate. Suppose we want to find the sum of a field or we want to find the count of a field. All those fields we drag into the values area. If we want to filter the data by some criteria, whatever the column is having that criteria is dragged into the filter area. So let's create a simple pivot table here. Let's find out the number of employees per department. We first select the department. It goes to rows by default and we select the names of the employees. It is also going to the rows. As you can see, it is appearing under the department. So we can see which employee is under which department. But we need to get the count of the employees per department. So we need to calculate the count. So that field is dragged into the values area. We can drag the full name column to the values area. By default, Excel calculates the count. You can change this into sum, average, max, min, all those functions. But it is a text field, so it is count by default. Now you can see the names of the department and the number of employees per department. We can change the label name by clicking here and we can type here number of employees. So this is how we simply insert a pivot table. Let's get to the more advanced features of the pivot table in the next part.